Your number one job as a parent is your child, of course, and they are emulating our every move, everything we do, even the tiny things we do that we don't realize. Being a role model at all times can be very tricky. Joining me now is Dr. Carrie Dixon, aka Dr. Mom.
Thank you.
Dr. Dixon, you're a huge proponent of intentional living. What is intentional living?
Well, I'm not going to pretend like I coined the phrase intentional living. Intentional living was a book by John Maxwell. Let's talk about intentional parenting.
What is
intentional
that? What does that look
parenting.
like?
That looks like we know what we're doing. We're conscientious about everything we do, and it takes some work. So you can't just go around doing things not realizing that they are following everything you do, even when they become adult. So we always think about small children and them being a role model for them and them following what we do. But what about your adult children? What about them looking at everything you do, and whether they realize it or not, they are copying, they're emulating, they're following you and what you've done as you followed your parents, believe it or not.
They're watching us as we go through the daily troubles and hardships. It could be your job, it could be your relationship, your friendships. Is that what you're talking about then?
And how we react and respond to those things. I have a friend, and my friend told me that her husband comes in the house and he puts his coat on the railing. The railing, he just throws his coat on there every day he comes in the house. Rather than hang it up in the closet, he puts it on the railing. No big deal. But then her son came home from college over the summer, 22 years old. What do you think he did? He came home and put his coat on the railing every day.
And who
he
picks
just
up
threw
the
it.
coat?
He just threw it on the railing that they walk up the steps.
Yeah.
And she had to stop and say to her husband, "Do you realize he's doing exactly what you're doing?" And her husband didn't even think about it. And then he said, "Oh, wait a minute." So even though his son is an adult, he had to think about being an intentional parent again with his son coming home.
Is it inevitable that our kids become us, or that we become like our parents?
Unless you intentionally decide there are some things you don't want to do. You have to think about it. And just because your kid, yesterday they were 17, tomorrow they're 18, wow, everything changes. So no, they're no longer going to follow us. Not true at all. And oftentimes people don't understand we are literally following what we know. So we're doing what we know without even thinking about it. So you have to sit and think, now wait a minute, these are some things I do not want to follow or copy, but then again, these are some things I really like about what my parents did. So you have to think about it as a child to your parents, as your children are thinking about it growing with you.
Grown children will subconsciously even choose a partner like their father or like their mother because it feels familiar.
It's what they know, absolutely.
Do you tell your child at any age what your parenting style is? Do you ever reveal that hand? Reveal your
Absolutely,
cards?
absolutely.
Like what would that look like?
A conversation. Wow, you know what? When you were younger, I tell you one mistake I made, if there was something I could do a little differently, this is probably what I would have done. Because they're thinking about some things as they become parents also. And we want to make sure that we have open and honest conversation and not pretending that we're something we're not.
Dr. Dixon, Dr. Mom, Carrie, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Really good insight on intentional parenting. Now to beignets.